Dude, I just finished The Towers of Midnight. Wow, this is the 13th book of the Wheel of Time. It's insane to me that I'm this far into it. I really liked it a lot. All around, Gathering Storm had a better impact the whole way through, but the ending of Matt and Perrin's storyline in this book was so perfect to, like, I'm gonna blow my mind. Okay, this should be fun. The Wheel of Time is almost over, and whenever I finish this book up, I almost had a heart attack, because I just realized how quick the ending is coming, and a lot of this book was shoving you to our ending, to the last battle, Tarmangaiden. And wow, this is very, very, just like puts it in place very well. This is the best penultimate book I've ever read, and wow, they just put it in the places so well. And I think this one not as good as Gathering Storm. Gathering Storm was really good. But Towers of Midnight, the ending was, oh, goodness gracious, this was so good. I had such a good time with this book. And this tome, it's like I can't finish it. That's why I'm going to read Eye of the World first. Like, I'm going to read Eye of the World before I finish Memory of Light, just so I can get a recap, a blast from the past. There's a lot of characters I'm going to cover in this book. Hopefully I can get to all of them. This is not going to be like a full summary. I'm going to be long about it, but I'm not going to basically summarize the book for you. Daniel Green has good summaries if you want to talk about it, but there's going to be some points I'm going to miss. But if I miss them, talk to me about them in the comments. Just put spoilers and then enter, and you know how it works. I will talk to you about it, of like the spoilers actually. But just warning the spoilers, and I'll talk to you guys about it. But from now on, this is spoilers. Please, I cannot stress how much I need to tell you guys, but don't go into spoilers. Some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, like right now, some of the stuff I'm going to talk about will totally destroy the series for you, and I really don't want this to happen, because you'll love the series, I guarantee you. Wow, The Towers of Midnight. That's insane. I'm just so excited, and now we're going to go spoilers, and just please go, do me a favor, read Towers of Midnight, and then you can come back and watch this review. I would be happy to welcome you after you finish Towers of Midnight. And read the Wheel of Time if you haven't already. Wheel of Time is just excellent in every manner, and especially now we're getting a lot of the payoff. I'm feeling so happy that I stick with the series no matter what. I'm a die-hard fan, and you can bet I'm rereading this at least 7 times in my lifetime. If you don't know, I do my spoiler reviews by character. I talk about each character storyline, especially with these multi-POVs things. So I'm going to be talking about each person at a time. First person is Matt, and you know Matt had some interesting storylines. I'm going to go in order, so I'm going to talk about his ending next, and this should be fun. That was fun. I liked how Matt went. It was a good journey towards, like, the whole thing. But towards the end of it, that blew my mind. I'll be talking about that later. And first, he kind of just, like, same thing. You can tell he's very, very different because of Tuon. He'd actually married Tuon, and you can see the difference on how he looks at, like, women. It was like, that would be a good girl. For one of my friends, obviously. But, like, it would be, like, it's so funny how he still has that, like, childish boy inside them, but he's also married and technically royalty of Seanchan. And if you know me, I hate Seanchan with a passion, and it's weird. Like, I'm just not a Seanchan guy that they do to anyone who can channel, actually. And I'm not a big Seanchan fan. I've never been a real big Tuon fan. It's just how it was, and that was just like that. But like Tuon was not in this book barely. The Daughter of the Nine Moons, and now like Matt's technically a prince, which is really funny. And like he's got scars on his neck. A lot of the callback from Shadow Rising. Ooh, I want to read the Shadow Rising again. I loved Shadow Rising, and there's a lot of callback, especially with the Tower of Genji moments, and we go back into that. Since it's like the very end of the book, and since it's like the very end of the series, everyone needs to meet up at the end, and they're doing a lot of the meeting up here. Matt and Elaine meet up, and he also meets up with Perrin. Matt meeting Perrin was the most wholesome moment I've ever seen in my life, when he throws the acorn at his head, and then they say like, hi buddy, and then like they were like good friends again. Dude, I was like so happy at that moment. I can't even express to you like how perfect that was. The very end of Matt's line was really just perfect. How Matt's things went out really just blew my mind to pieces. Because if you have not known, they've foreshadowed Moiraine being alive, especially with the letter and especially with like the letter she sent to Tom. And you know, Tom has a very good connection with Moiraine. He has a lot of connection in this. And the three of them, Matt, and I'm pretty sure his name is Noel. Yeah, Noel go into the Tower of Genji to get Moiraine, because apparently she was alive whenever when you thought she was dead. If you watch my Fires of Heaven review, you will see how shocked and like scared and just totally bewildered when Moiraine died. I was just like, oh, like I thought she was a mentor figure, like, you know, she was kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi who died at the start, but at this point, they grew a lot without her, and now they're gonna get her back, and she's gonna be like disoriented. They kind of get her with the Snakes and Foxes, the legendary game, and Matt, he kind of bets like that's how he gets through like the basically maze. He like was like rolls the dice, and if this rolls this way, you go forward, this goes straight, and it's slowly back and forth, and that's how you get through. And then they finally get there with Moiraine and the Aelfin and Eilfin, and Matt like kind of bets, but they barely get out alive. And then he remembers his spear, that like a way to get out, and they give him a spear, so he uses the spear. Very dramatic and very like perfect, like oh. And actually, what's his name? I can't remember this for the life of me. I'm gonna be consulting my notes a lot in this video, so bear with me. Yeah, I can't remember Noel's name for like the life of me. And Noel sacrifices himself. He barely even knows Moiraine, but it's like a very heroic thing to do. Matt makes sure he like in Tom's ballads to make sure that he was like really mentioned as a hero, because he sacrificed himself. I really didn't have much care for Noel. I like knew him, but I think like I can tell I can tell when they were going to the tower, I was like, okay, if anyone's gonna die, it's gonna be Noel, obviously. Matt loses an eyeball. That was like a curveball. Like, especially just like he said, like to give him like that. Wasn't that like the bargain for Moiraine? Pretty like I think that's a very like parent, like Rand loses an arm, Matt loses an eyeball. What is parent gonna lose? But like that's just fun things, fun. But and Moiraine like marries Tom on the spot. One thing I wonder about is the warder. Like, what will Lan do when he hears Moraine's alive? When they meet Moiraine, are gonna be pretty awkward, because she's like married and bonded to Nynaeve. And like I just like one thing I'm like questioning about, like how would this play out? But it could happen any way, and I would like to see that. I'm like super excited. They're setting a lot for Memory of Light, because from what I hear, half of Memory of Light is like the like penultimate, and then the other half is the last battle. Yeah, I can't read Memory of Light. I just like I can't. I just don't want to be finished. I kind of want to put it off forever so I can say I'm still reading the Wheel of Time, but I'm not gonna do that. But one other thing that happened in that story arc is the Varen letter. He can't open this letter. That's what happened from the last book. And when he leaves the Tower of Genji, I'm like, okay, I guess he resisted the temptation. The whole book, he just kind of stopped looking at the letter. But the twist is, Oliver is the one who opens it. And I have very positive feelings about Oliver. And then, wow, what it says is basically to destroy the Waygate, because she only thought she only thought he would last a couple days. But they lasted like a long time. So the Waygate was like already coming, and there was a big battle at the end. And the end is like Oliver picking up his spear. And I think Oliver, it's a good growing up tale for Oliver. They have a younger person in here. Matt, Rand, Perrin are like in their 20s already. And they have a younger kid, Oliver, who's like, Matt does not do a lot of things, but I think he's going to have a moment in A Memory of Light. I want him to have one moment, because I love Oliver, and he's just a really funny guy, and Oliver is just one of my characters. I love Oliver. The next person is Elaine Dracond. I wasn't impressed with Elaine's as much. She had some, like, pretty cool moments. Her brother, like, she got to meet Morghese at the end of it, because Morghese is alive. Everyone's alive. And, like, if they don't see a dead body on the floor, they're practically alive in fantasy, and we all know that. But, like, Elaine has twins, like the two twins, and when she has an attack, like, the doctor doesn't let her, like, get out of bed, and she's not doing that because she has a job. And I remember we didn't have her POV in The Gathering Storm. So last time we picked off was Knife of Dreams, where she became, where she became, like, the queen of, now I can't remember, the queen of Caemlyn, and just, like, not Tar-Valon, but, like, the queen, like, the things she'd been working for. Morghese used to be the queen, but now everyone thought she died, but now she's back. But she has, like, surrendered fealty to Elaine, so, like, she's still the queen. And their meeting was very cool because, like, obviously awkward because I took your position, but you're back, but it's still very good. Morgase kind of still meets Galad and Gawain, his other two daughters, his other two sons, my bad. And, like, it's good. It's, like, good to see Morgase coming back. She's been, like, with Perrin and Faile as, like, a T. It's, like, and she's so, like, regal, and Faile and Perrin were, like, how did we not notice that, like, this has happened? But, like, it's, like, really just, like, kind of random, as, like, she was just, like, a teapot. And then now, like, even then, when she was back to her normal state, she kind of was still serving tea, which was a little quirk. Which was, like, funny, because, like, now she's, like, no longer queen. And, Elaine is very powerful. She has twins. I can't wait to see what happens to these twins. And, like, yeah, like, I'm so excited to see, like, there's, like, more. I don't know if they're gonna be, like, I don't know if they're gonna be once or stuff. I have no idea what's coming for a memory of, like, I think, what happens to Rand? I don't know. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if he's gonna survive or not. I have no idea. And I don't want to get spoiled, so I've just, like, resorted to stop watching any Wheel of Time videos just to be safe, because I will, like, legit break something if I get spoiled at, like, this stage in the series. I'm just so, like, not ready for that being spoiled. But Elaine's arc was very good in this book. I mean, it's not my favorite. Definitely didn't stand out. Just, like, it wasn't a standout in this book. But, like, it was still, like, good. Like, her book was Knife of Dreams, and she stood out in Knife of Dreams. But this one, not as above the rest as this one, but it was still a good, I enjoyed the arc. Perrin has a lot of things happen to him. First, there's the things that happen in the real world, and the things that happen in the Wolf Dream. And I feel like they were messing with Perrin. I think the person most affected by the slog, in my opinion, was Perrin Aybara. Most of the slog he spent looking for Faile, and that was the extent of what he was doing. In this one, the Wolf Dream enters back with Stroll with the villain. I think it was Lord Luke. I know it was Lord Luke, but I think his name was Slayer. See, I can't remember names, so I just, like, write it all down, and that helps me. But Slayer is the man in the Wolf Dream, and we haven't even seen him forever. Like, I don't even know why you forget about him. I think there should have been more Wolf Dream, in my opinion. One thing that could make this better was build up more of the Wolf Dream, and then instead of rushing it. But still having all this condensed in Towers of Midnight made it such a good book. And I loved Perrin's arc. Perrin and Matt's arc were definitely standouts. And, like, no question, Perrin and Matt, this was their book 100%. And I think that's so needed because I was kind of getting bored because they were just with their camps. And this is what they needed right now. And this is the perfect thing you can do with Perrin and Matt. Perrin of the Two Rivers. And, like, the thing is, like, he accepts this position. Before, he was like, I don't want to take the wolf banner down and take this down, blah, blah, blah. And in this arc, he comes to just accept it as a leader. He doesn't have to like it, but he has to lead his troops into battle. And seeing this cover scene is him forging the hammer. It's very, very, very beautiful. This arc starts with the White Cloaks. It was Galad with the White Coats. I can't get Galad and Gawain, but it was Galad, but he was a White Cloak. And basically, they think he's a Dark Friend for killing some people a long time ago. Like, I barely remember, but I kind of remember this happening. And they're dealing with the consequences now. And the trial scene, like, because they decide to have a trial, and that's Morgase. He shows Morgase, and Galad goes, hey, this is not, like, a tea servant. And so she offers to be the, like, what's it called? Judge. And they have this trial. The trial scene was done excellently. I love how the trial scene played out. How Perrin explains how it happened. How they were telling what happened. And then Perrin was thinking what really happened. And it really had a nice contrast of things. And that really just, like, executed well. Like, that was a good writing decision by Brandon Sanderson. And wow, like, this was a very, very good book. Like, when this trial scene, he was technically proven guilty. But, it wasn't, like, really guilty. Like, he wasn't under the desk. Like Galad had to choose. And, like, eventually, like, when Perrin was, like, showing nice to him, because he comes to save him, and, like, he chooses, like, to not, like, you have to, like, pay money, I'm pretty sure that's what he said, after the last battle, because he also wants them to fight in the last battle, because, really, Perrin could have just destroyed the White Cloaks, but in reality, they need him to fight in the last battle, because they will fight for our side in the last battle, and why would one make sense if you're just, like, destroying troops for your side? Talk too much. Sorry. But, like that's his logic, and it was good logic. And I need to take a break to talk about the Wolf Dream. The Wolf Dream was very epic. Like, Slayer was like, he fought Slayer. Hopper dies again. He died a long time ago. Now he dies again. Because if you die in the Wolf Dream, you die forever. So Slayer loses his dome. It's all kind of complicated, but Slayer is a very, very powerful character, and I'm really excited to see how they cap it off, defeating Slayer in the memory of Light. Like, because Rand, Rand, like, has his own thing. Matt, he's kind of done with this arc where there's, like, I think he's ready to go to the last battle, especially with Moiraine back. He's probably have to deal with that in a memory of Light. Perrin needs to defeat Slayer in the Wolf Dream, and having that cap off will be really brilliant. I'm sure it'll be really excellent. And like after this, like, he's very devastated that Hopper died, and now he needs to like become a leader. And him making this hammer, and I think like the hammer, what it needs to call like the hammer. I don't even know what the hammer is called. It is called Maliender or something like that. That's how he makes it, and he makes it with a wolf head. And just depicting the scene, how they described it was really well. And then this, making it on the cover. And if you don't know, this is my like Discord logo. It's just like Perrin. I've always loved like that picture of Perrin. But now that I've read the scene, it's so amazing. Like, I just love this picture. I did like kind of I did like an interpretation of this with a more orangey thing. That's my new Discord thing. I won't put it up because I don't think I'll be editing much here. But it's like really just perfect. Like how, I love that scene. It was crafted to perfection at this point, and I couldn't have done it better. Of course I couldn't have done it better. Like, I'm not an author over here, but like, if you know what I mean. But like, that's really, really, really excellent, and they just do an excellent job of making it feel epic, and just like I waited for like 12 books for this, and like flipping out. Like, that was just Faile didn't have the best, like, she was kind of like quieter today. I'm glad, because most of Perrin and Faile's arc was just like relationship problems. But like with Berylane, she does step up to Berylane. Berlane's not as like a jerk all the time, just trying to get Perrin. That was kind of lame. I think he has like, she likes, I think it's Galat actually, which is interesting. But like, I think it's stepped down. The rumors are all gone. That was what basically she did. And like Shot Faile, she's a good character. It's just she didn't do a lot in this book. Again, like, if you have characters such standout as Matt and Perrin, they're like in this book, especially like some characters will have good arcs. It's just not blow you away, do amazing things. Because this was their payoff book, and they have other payoff books. Like last payoff book for Gathering Storm, Egwene blew me away. In this one, it was Matt and Perrin, and I think Memory of Light's gonna be, everyone's gonna have their finishing arc, and Rand's gonna have his major payoff in the Memory of Light. Rand, speaking of Rand, he is changed man. If you have not read the end of The Gathering Storm, which you should have, because we're doing a spoiler review for Towers of Midnight, he kind of like becomes a changed man. Before, he was a jerk, and I was saying he was an ever-coming problem, because he was just stone cold and not the best person. Like, he was, the last battle's coming, like, you know, and I've never, like, he wasn't smiling, and at this point, I wasn't fun to read Rand's chapters. It was scary to read Rand's chapters because of how much he's changing, and I'm like, is he going mad still? Even though the thing is cleansed, he's very, like, he's a workaholic. And now he's changed. Like, at the start of this book, I love how they started the book, like, he comes up to the orchard, and then, like, he comes down from the mountain, and then all the clouds are parting, and that's what happens ever, because, like, the last battle's about to come, and he's a dragon reborn. That's insane. Like, it's just how they've handled stuff like that was so perfect. Like, this is the Dragon Reborn. Being the Dragon Reborn, he hangs out with Min still. I feel like it's just Min. Like, Avienda had her own storyline, which I'll talk about later, but, like, it's just Min he's just hanging out with. And, like now it's like he wants, his major plan now is to break the seals of, to the Dark One's prison, because, like, their logic is, like, you just gotta break it, cut it open, don't let him break it himself. So the last battle comes out, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm personally in favor of breaking it. Just, you gotta break it to do it. Just get it over with. You don't want the Dark One coming in on his own will. And it's just, like, that's my thing. I think a lot of the Aes Sedai they're calling him very foolish for doing this. Like, I don't know why, honestly, but it's probably, like, a good decision, and I don't know, that's gonna have a lot of payoff in A Memory of Light. This book really just, like was waiting for everyone else, and Rand had a lot of moments, but, like, not too much of the real things that were happening to him, which was, like, it was okay, but, like, I did love how Rand changed, seeing Rand smile, seeing Rand laugh, seeing Rand be a wise leader. Like, he's, like, now he's wise. Like, especially just, like, how it all turns out. You can tell he's a wiser man from this. And this is, like, it was a very good book. Alright, Egwene, again, if you did not watch my Gathering Storm review, I gushed about Egwene's arc. And this one, I really liked it. Her thing was just, like, with Gawain, and, like, especially in the dream world with Masana. Gawain is, like wants to be her warder, but he doesn't know what it means to be a warder. He doesn't know just to take instructions. He wants to just do what's best for her, not taking instructions. But he goes through a major changing arc, which makes him a pretty good warder. And Egwene, like, knows the White Tower because she was, like, Amyrlin now. And the White Tower is, like, they're, like, kind of, there's still, like, a one dark friend. They don't know how he got her, and it's Masana. And at the end, in the dream world, they defeat Masana, making her just, like, speechless, like, can't speak, or basically, like, a dummy. And now, like, but she was, like, there was an assassin trying to kill her, and just like Gawain had thought, it wasn't someone who can channel. And he saves her life. She actually goes away because he was mad at Egwene because he was, like, not listening to her, didn't let her, like, stake out at her door to protect her. So he goes away, and then, like, he gets the calling back, so he comes back right in time to save her from assassins because she was so deep in the dream world, she would have, like, totally died. And that kind of, like, made her, like, he got hurt, but, like, but Egwene healed her and made her a warder. Clearly there was a lot of, like, tension, and now, like, that's what they needed exactly in that moment. And it's just a good strike for the Amyrlin because we want warders to help people. It's, like, selfish to not take a warder, especially now with the bonding and all that stuff. But, like, and now I think that's Egwene's warder, and it's good to have, like, this change in the Amyrlin because they're changing what they need to right before a Memory of Light. And this was a very good placement for a Memory of Light. And I'm really excited to see what happens to Egwene and Gawain. Aviendha had some stuff at the end, towards the end of this book, and it's basically memories going back into other people's lives in the Aiel, especially with the Threefold Land, and they're meeting Tope, staying on the Threefold Land, but it should be done once Rand, like, wins or the last battle's over. So she's just thinking about what's gonna happen after, and, like, looking in the past, looking in the future, which is really cool just to see, like, the future of the Aiel. And it's just, like, she's a really good character. I love Aviendha so much. She's, like, I especially loved her. I think it was, like, in Lord of Chaos, or, like, it was in Lord of Chaos, Fires of Heaven, or Shadow Rising, one of the three. Whenever she would, like, be with Rand, I love those moments, like, those scenes, like, that's the one I truly ship. It's, like, Rand and Aviendha more than Elaine or Min, honestly, for me. Nynaeve had this amazing Aes Sedai test. I loved the Aes Sedai test for Nynaeve. That was a standout moment for Nynaeve. Other than that, I didn't think she did much, but she obviously was Aes Sedai, and, like, she was very stubborn about it, and whenever I said to keep my oath, she was like, I'll prove it, because she is Aes Sedai, and now she just wants to prove it. That's basically how it does. And they make it extremely hard for her, like, with all these weaves, doing the 100 weaves, very hard. Like, she can't leave, like, sick children. That's just one of her things. I don't know, like who wouldn't, like, I don't know who would, but, like, that's one of her, I can't do that, but that's her arc, and it was very, very well done. I love the Aes Sedai test, and she, like, barely passed, like, they have to discuss if she passed, but she did do 100 weaves, and she's a very strong channeler, so that's just, like, really good to see. And I'm happy, like, Nynaeve, what happened to Nynaeve, and now she's an official Aes Sedai, and people can't look down on her, because she gets very mad, but her braids are short now, so she can't braid tug, but Nynaeve, never really been the biggest fan, but I do really, really like what happened in the Aes Sedai test. Morghese is the mother. I talked about her before. Like, she, like, kind of, like, she comes back. Now she was, like, the serving woman for Perrin and Fael for the longest time, but now she's, like, back to her full glory, and that's really good to see, like, just her back. But she's technically not queen. Elaine is still queen, but, like, that's, like, good to, like, you know, and ooh. And I forgot one thing in Matt's arc, what's his name? Okay, yeah, Noel. I was talking about Noel. He's actually Jane Farstrider, and especially, Oliver loves Jane Farstrider in the stories, and you can tell, like, Brigitte is, like a hero from the legends, and there can be reborn people, and actually, he's actually Jane Farstrider reborn. That's really cool, like, to add in the end. It's just, like, a fun thing, because it was, like, such a hint, like, oh, Legend of Jane, or The Traveling of Jane Farstrider. That's, like, Oliver's favorite book, and he loves, like, his adventures, and at the very end, he dies, and you realize, hey, I was Jane Farstrider, and that's a really cool thing. I would like to have a copy of the Travels of Jane Farstrider just to put right here on my Wheel of Time shelf. Travels of Jane Farstrider, that would be really sick. Lastly, Lands in like the epilogue with Valkyrie. Like that was really fun. Like taking back his kingdom, and that's like puts him in for Memory of Light. Like he's gonna take back his kingdom, like the warder. Again, I expressed in the start of this, wondered like the awkward situation between Lan and Moraine, but now he's taking back his kingdom. He loves Nynaeve, and it's really epic. Really, from the start, it was just the coolest thing. It was such a cool book. I had such a good time reading this book. I wouldn't say it's my favorite because, especially Matt, he didn't do anything until the very end. His arc like never got really amazing until they went into the Tower of Genji. Wow. But this was a really good book. I'm reading Eye of the World like right after I finish Rebels Creed, and this is gonna be such a roller coaster for Eye of the World and then A Memory of Light. Please go ahead and check out my review for that when I have it next month. And I'll give you updates for A Memory of Light. I don't know if I can finish this series. I don't know if I have the willpower. Like, I can't. I don't want to. Because it's just such a long series. And I feel so connected to these people. And there's such good payoff. I just want to read it over and over again. And I'll never be the same as reading it for the first time. But as I said, you can expect me to reread it and reread it and reread it. Because this is just such an impactful series on me. And I would say it's my favorite series of all time now that I've read a good amount of books in it. It's just so impactful for me just to see all these characters really well, have perfect world building. I think this is the most balanced series I've ever read just because of the time it has to develop everything. Like, it develops world building, it develops characters, develops really excellent storylines, and you can pick on it all you want, and I have picked on it. You heard my Tower of the Midnight review, I picked on it. But when it all push comes to shove, this is my favorite series. I can't recommend you more to read this series, and it's a treat. My Why You Should Read Wheel of Time should be coming out in January, and that's gonna be. I have a lot of things to say about that because you should read it, and obviously you guys have read it because you're watching this spoiler review. But Wheel of Time is one of the best. It is the best in my eyes. Lord of the Rings is really good. Has really good foundation, but I've never connected to the characters as much as I did Wheel of Time. Just like the Wheel of Time world is still bigger just because of more world building. The size allows it to do so much. The writing is so amazing. People get bothered by its scripted writing. That has never bothered me in the slightest ever. And like Brandon Sanderson does a really good job, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited that happened. Like, I'm excited that if this wasn't finished completely, like if this was finished very wrong, it had just finished the slog and they were having 3 last slog books, I'd be very disappointed. But I'm so glad they made such a good choice in Brandon Sanderson to finish the Wheel of Time. And I can't wait for Memory of Light. Memory of Light's gonna blow me away, and I guarantee you I'll be crying. Yep. I think I'm gonna cry for that. I don't know if I can make it, guys. The Wheel of Time is such a good series. It's so impactful for me. And I could talk about that forever. And I just had a longer review. I like to talk about books. Like, I like to gush as long as I can for books so I can get everything out in the open. And I want to do spoiler reviews. I didn't spoil, until, a Lord of Chaos, I did, a spoiler-free reviews. Now I see no point in that. But I like these longer reviews. And, again, I tell you when I'm reading my last book, if you finish, if you finish the whole video, I'm reading Rebels Creed, and she'll be reading Eye of the World pretty soon. If you tell me I'm reading that, if you tell me in the comments, I'll pin your comment. That's just the thing I'm doing, so you can get to the end of the video, have a little incentive. But I get it, this is a spoiler review, so it's not going to be as much people. But the Wheel of Time is amazing. I can't wait for this show to release. And Towers of Midnight, I can't say. It's a 5-star, definitely, 100%. But I can't say which one's my favorite, because this is really up there. So, that was the video, and see you guys in the next one.